It's day 2 of thinking about Jane Seymour, and today we're thinking about her father, John Seymour. So the surname Seymour actually comes from Saint Maur, which appeared in England alongside William the Conqueror in the 11th century. The Seymour family lived in relative obscurity for a few centuries. They were kind of nobodies until a man called Roger Seymour married Maud, who was the co-heiress of Wolf Hall. This moved them to ranks of gentry, and it just kept moving up until the time Jane's father John was born. They were quite a prominent family. So his grandfather, for example, had got a seat in Parliament. It also became, if you remember yesterday, we talked about how Jane's mother had 10 children, poor woman. They became known for their fertility, which is an interesting thing to be known for, which, who knows, maybe that's why Jane caught the eye of Mr. Henry VIII. Jane's father, John, gets his inheritance in 1492. He gets Wolf Hall. He starts going about his career, but he's sort of a bit unambitious, really. He's more of a soldier than he is a courtier. We do see that sometimes. Some people just aren't interested in the politics of court life, which you can understand. They'd rather just be out on the field killing people. Each to their own. But he took part in a few key things which make him be noticed by Henry VII and also Henry VIII. So he took part in Battle of Blackheath, which was with Henry VII against the Cornish rebellion. So he helped Henry VII there, and he actually got knighted for that. And in 1513, all seems to come back to this, doesn't it? Those early days of Henry VIII being desperate to get over to France and take over a little patch of land for English glory. He went then, so he took part in that bit. In 1508, he was made a sheriff of Wiltshire, and then of course he was at the Field of Cloth of Gold. I mean, wasn't everybody? I'm starting to feel a little bit left out, and I feel like I'm literally the only person who wasn't at the Field of Cloth of Gold at this point. So not a huge amount is known about Jane's dad beyond kind of the various different roles that he took, and he did take on quite a lot of different roles throughout his life. He was Esquire of the Body to Henry VIII, and his very final role was Groom of the Bedchamber. Any sort of groom role and anything to do with the bedchamber, you're very close to the king, possibly even having the king's ear. So we know that around Jane's marriage to the king, her family were sort of closing in a little bit around the king, helping her along her way there. I've seen a slight discrepancy in when exactly he died. I've seen somebody say, I've seen it in at least one place, that he died in 1535 and therefore didn't see Jane become queen, but most places say he died late in 1536, which means therefore he will have seen Jane become queen, but he won't have known about the birth of Edward, obviously have known about that or about Jane's subsequent death. So hopefully that means that both her parents were there to sort of see her become Queen of England. So like I said yesterday, he died around 15 years before his wife, but his last child would have been around 16 at that point, so he didn't leave her with any toddlers running around. I had a couple of days intro now into Jane's parents. Tomorrow we're going to look at 2 of her brothers. We're not going to look at all the brothers because we would be there for an hour going through them all. Big family. So tomorrow we're going to have a quick look at the key brothers, the key Seymour brothers, Edward and Thomas. So I will see you then.